Hey, thanks for tuning in. Just a quick heads up before we get started, we did have some issues with our microphones, so the audio might sound a little bit off in some spots, but this information was too good not to share with you guys, so we really hope you enjoyed the episode.
Welcome, everybody, the Ultimate Advisors Resource Podcast. I've got my good friend and mentor in the business, Bill Ipema, here today. Thank you. I'm Jordan Pence. Our company is Advisors Resource Company. We help advisors like you grow your business. And I thought it'd be interesting to have Bill on today. I think he probably qualified for MDRT many years. Yeah, less than 100, but probably more than 20 years.
Are you saying I'm getting old?
No, I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying you're well qualified. And Bill has been one of the most consistent advisors we've ever worked with, certainly, as far as production goes, quality of clients goes, really focused on the business owner market, I would say. So I want Bill to maybe explain how he's done it over all these years, how he's developed such great relationships with his clients, how he stays in front of his clients, because I think it'll help everybody out there. But before we go into too much of that, maybe Bill, you can give a little bit of your background. Like, how did you get in the business?
Okay.
What made you want to be a life insurance agent? And maybe a little bit of history around that, because I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, it's always interesting to me, of course, because it's my history. I'm not sure it's interesting to everybody else. But anyway, I graduated from college, and I got married between my junior senior year in college. I would have killed my kids if they'd have done that. Yeah, but and they didn't. But anyway, I just found the most beautiful, greatest woman ever early in life, and so we got married.
You knew she was the one.
She was the one. So I'm graduating from college, and we got married in August between our junior senior year. So now it's time to graduate from college, and she's 9 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I'm just telling you. Okay, so
It didn't see when I went to college. Didn't see that.
no. Well, there was some issues, we were trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
So, and by the grace of God, we had one, and she turned out to be an amazing girl. Anyway, so you're graduating from college, you're having a wife. Now, at the time I started looking for a job. At the time, she was still pregnant, but when I told her that I'd gone into life insurance business, it was when she was in the hospital just having given birth to our oldest daughter, and she goes, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so I would tell you that a lot went into that decision, actually, and I'll just give you a quick breakdown of that. So even though she probably wished I would have gone with Exxon, that's one of the companies that was interested in hiring me. And in those days, you just went to the newspaper and you looked for help wanted ads. And then you responded to those. And there were a lot of them when kids were coming out of college, at that time of the year. They were all that's how they, recruited and found kids out of college.
Right.
But I'd been an athlete in college. I was a president of our student body and all that type of thing. So I don't think she or I ever worried about finding a job.
Right.
So the question was, and I'd had a lot of jobs. We graduated at the time that we were having this child. I'd worked in Alaska a couple summers, making tons of money. I had all kinds of money. And I had to pay my way through college because my parents were missionaries. They had no money.
Yeah.
And so I have to tell you, I think she had a lot of confidence in my ability to take care of her and our new child, no matter what, because I had demonstrated that earlier. I'd paid my way through college by the grace of God. Okay. Not just me. I mean, mainly God. And so here I was. And the reason I went to, I decided the life insurance business was right for me. The first reason was I was told early on, and I talked to a number of companies, and we don't have time to go through that whole story. That was an interesting story. Yeah, how I ended up is anyway. Um, the the reason I really went into the life insurance business, the primary reason, was for money. No, it shouldn't be that. But if I have to be honest, it was for money because somebody told me, all right, if you come into this business and you work hard and you do all the stuff that we teach you to do, you will be able to make more money than the president of the company that you work for. I'm thinking, wow. The people at Exxon did tell me that. Yeah, and there were some other companies that I was, but I was really kind of interested in the Exxon deal because I got a car and
that would have nice.
yeah, and I would have made more money initially.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Okay, but then even though I was a kid, I think work is something special. It's almost sacred. Yeah, what you do because every day when you get up, you exchange a day of your life for whatever it is you're doing, right?
100%.
So if you're exchanging these little pieces of your life for what it is you're doing, you would hope that what you're doing is important. And so,
and maybe a little more than just making money.
Exactly. And so, so I knew I could always get a job. Yeah. But as I looked at a career, I did want a career where I could, I could make more money than the president of the company. I like that idea. But I also wanted to be in a career that I could make a difference in people's lives. Right? And we're the best friend to widows and orphans.
100%.
Okay? And I think we're called to take care of widows and orphans and people that, struggle. And this is one way that I felt I could do it. And so there was a double whammy here. I could do like almost missionary work like my parents. I used to call myself a money missionary. That doesn't sound good, but I meant well. Okay. But so I was kind of like a money missionary. And so I could make a difference in people's lives, a real difference. Yeah. And at the same time, make all kinds of money and really take really good care of my family. And that all worked out. Oh, yeah. So I've been able to help a lot of people along the way. Just before we go on, let me tell you that early in my career, yeah, I sold a life insurance policy. In those days, they had what they called family policies. Right. So you would sell the breadwinner, normally the man in the family. So you would sell him like a $10,000 policy, and there would be additional term benefit for the wife and the kids. So you could have as many kids as you wanted. Each kid would get like $5,000. So I happened to sell them one of those. And unfortunately for this couple, and this is early in my career, I mean, I was less than 2 years in the business, they had one of those crib deaths. Oh, yeah. To this day, when I think of it, it's just terrible. And that rocked that family. It rocked me. And, everybody in our organization at the time, I was just one of their younger agents. But we paid $5,000 to them. They had another child, but this was a baby. And so they took the $5,000 and they went to Florida. I lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time. They went to Florida and they lived there for about a year. In those days, $5,000 was a lot of money.
Go a long way, yeah.
And you know what? When they came back, I mean, the hugs that I got from that family And I mean, they just told me if it hadn't been for that money, they didn't know what they would have done, but they needed to just get away out of the house.
Yeah.
Especially the mom. And that catapulted my career, because then it wasn't just talking about people dying.
Yeah.
As you know, I've you know, at my age now, with all the clients I've had, every year there's 2 or 3 people that actually we go and we deliver death claims.
Yeah.
But to have a death claim that meaningful that early on in your career, that had a huge impact on my life, and I think my career, and I was better for it. And so, you know, God does strange things sometimes. We think they're strange, but it helped me help more people, and it helped them in the long run, you know, to get their sanity back, and you know, to live a normal life again. And they went on and had 2 more kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
Just thought it says that's pretty powerful. So that was what, 2 years in? You were 2 years in the business?
maybe less than 2 years. I mean, I was new in the business.
Yeah. And I guess you probably never, well, obviously, you never forget that.
No. I don't think you ever forget any of your death claims.
No.
But it's not just death claims. I mean, we talked about it yesterday.
Yep.
One of our clients owns a very substantial company, took $1,200,000 loan on his policy, okay, to buy a crane.
Yeah.
Okay, but that crane, you know, was important to the business. And we'll talk about this later, but I've always sort of, even though the death benefit's a big part of what we do, the most important part, I've concentrated the latter part, the last 25 years of my career, more on cash value as an asset, and a very valuable asset and great property to own.
Especially with your business and our clients, obviously. Oh, and individual clients.
Yeah, but all huge difference for them. And just before we started this conversation, I told you another business client called me this morning and needs a loan. And I said, and wondered if they should use their insurance or go to the bank. And I said, well, I would use your insurance. Yeah. Because when you borrow money, as you know, borrowing money today on a IUL contract, right? You can borrow about like 4.5%, 5%. All right. Okay. And these policies are, I mean, for the last couple of years, they've been earning 10%. You know, you can take the money out of your policy, use it for whatever you need to use it for. You need money. That's what it's for. And you can actually make money on the money that you're using to help your company do whatever it needs to do. So, I mean,
it's an amazing strategy. And what's funny about that is, yeah, you think of the crane guy, and that actually spurred on a whole line of business that employed hundreds at least of more people. I mean,
absolutely.
but multiple companies came out of that one crane because you got the other guy that's on off of there. So, I mean, it's exceedingly powerful. Well, and then you've got your other client who bought a bus off of it. I mean, there's so many people that
an entertainer
exactly
had $1 million to buy a bus. From its cash value.
From this cash value, and if you hadn't been doing that all these years, you would have had to go to the bank. I mean, it's extremely interesting.
Yeah.
So
now you see how I got in the business. So I looked at it more as a career move than just a job. And it fitted me well. And it was a way for me to make a huge difference in people's lives. I knew that. And at the same time, which is, it's brilliant, my parents never made money helping people, but I was in a position to help a lot of people and make a lot of money. And I liked that.
yeah, that seems like
Such a good fit.
it's a perfect fit. Anyway, and you definitely, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, you definitely have the unique personality to kind of do anything, so to speak. I mean, especially when it comes to sales and that sort of thing.
Well, thank you.
So, and I guess furthermore to expand, you're being a little modest. You ran a general agency. You were a general agent. You worked at a home office for a little while. I mean, you've done a lot of different things in the insurance business. And I'll leave with regard to your background. What do you think was the most fun out of all of those different positions that you've done over the years?
Well, I would say that at the time, what I was doing was the most fun.
At that stage of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's why you were doing it, I guess.
Yeah. But I've been an agent. That's probably the best job of all.
Yeah.
I've been a general agent, and our agency won the President's Award several years, won the marketing award. We were a successful agency. And then I was a senior vice president of marketing for U.S. Life Corporation, where, you know, I could have gone on to become a president of a life insurance company. I actually worked with all of our subsidiary life companies and was offered opportunities there, but that wasn't the right thing for me. And
You wanted to be a money missionary.
I ended up. I was actually at the time that I had a bad accident in my car driving from Austin, Texas to Dallas, Texas. And I was run off the freeway by a woman trying to put makeup on her, a teacher that did not have insurance on. That's. But I broke a couple of ribs in that accident. My car was, they told us, because I was driving another guy who actually broke his neck. And I broke some ribs, but what I suffered a very, very bad concussion.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize it at first, but then my behavior changed. And so I went and got it checked out, and they told me that, I'd had this concussion and it was going to affect my life for a while. That's when I started, they said you should get a one of those ski machines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain.
And
I needed that just to make it, but I didn't think at the time that running an agency, a very successful agency, was something that I could do effectively anymore. So I decided to, I took a couple people from that agency, and when I told them I was going to leave, even though we had a big flourishing agency, I think they decided to just shut it down.
wow.
I don't know why they did that, but
That's weird.
yeah. But I think there's a story behind that too, but more to do with we were so successful with that insurance company, not just our agency, but there were a number of other people that I knew well that were working with this company, and we were doing so well that the company had a reserve problem. We can sell too much life insurance. People aren't aware of that. Yeah, to the point that it had a huge influence, and I think they wanted to shut her down so they could continue to operate, but eventually they shut everything down. About a year later, everything kind of, shut down. But anyway, so then I had to decide what to do. And so I thought, well, I'll go back to selling life insurance. I hadn't done it for a really long time. I taught people how to do it. I taught whole companies how to set up training programs.
Yeah.
And so now it's time to put up or shut up.
Hey, what you've been
All right. It's what you preach, dude. See if, and even though I wasn't 100% there, I was there enough where I started applying some of the same principles, and sure enough, here we are, right?
just did what you taught other people to do. Absolutely. And did it successfully. So again, I really wanted to talk to you about post, and I think it would help other people because I think you've done the best job staying in touch with your clients and revealing with your clients and so forth. What do you think you do that's maybe unique or that other people don't do? Or how do you do it? Like, what is your way of staying in touch with these folks so that, you know, you can maintain relationships, get repeat business? I mean, every year it's, you know, they just kind of roll in periodically. So what's the secret to that?
Well, thanks for the question. I think it's a good question. And it's unfortunately, it's what I do. I'm not sure everybody does, but they might want to think about it, about doing what I do and maybe even more. But the first one is the most obvious one. All my clients got a Christmas card, and they're not pre-printed. Actually, it takes me 2 weeks to do the Christmas cards. You know, a couple hours every day. And I write a little something, wishing them, you know, a good Christmas. And I send holiday greetings to my Jewish clients.
Right.
And I know which ones are and which ones aren't.
Right.
And so I try to respect everybody's, you know, religious beliefs.
Of course.
So first of all, Christmas cards. Secondly,
And I think the important part of this is don't pre-print everything, handwrite it.
I handwrite it.
You know, hey Bill, hope you had a great year. Hope you and your wife are doing great. You know, whatever it is.
And you know, years later, I've heard from a lot of our clients that they really appreciate the handwritten notes, and they put it on their manuals. So some of them probably it goes right into the race basket, but you know, there's your name again. They've seen your name. They know you care enough to have handwritten them a little note on a Christmas card. And I don't buy cheap Christmas cards. I buy really nice Christmas cards or holiday cards. Second thing I do is I text everybody on their birthday. And it's not just happy birthday, Joe. Okay? Exclamation point, Bill. Okay.
I guess if you did that, that's better than not doing it.
That would be better than not doing anything.
I mean,
but normally I have a message there too. And it's always unique. So they know every year they get a different message. And it's normally like, happy birthday, Joe. You know, I always say, our group, wish you a marvelous day, celebrating your big day. And then I always have a prayer. Most of my clients know I'm a believer. I love God, and they just know that. So I'm a prayer that God will bless them with good health. I think that's the most important thing you can wish somebody. You know, you can pray for them, that God would give them good health. Seriously.
yeah.
Because if you have good health, you can come back from any, you know, financial crisis, any kind of crisis in your life. If you're healthy, I think you can come back. So anyway, I wish them good health, and that God will bless them with prosperity, or it just depends on the person. Why some of them are a little more faith-based than others, because that's a good time for the clients that I have that are fellow believers, you know, it's a good time to share encouragement in Christ, you know. So, and then the third thing that I do is once a year, I go out and I see them, almost all of our clients. And when I see them, I come out with a spreadsheet of where they are. Here's a copy of a sample spreadsheet. Okay? Yeah. And so on this spreadsheet, this is just one of my clients. I have the name of the insured in the first column right here. Then I have the owner of the policy in the second column, the company that the policy is with, because in this case, we have 3 different companies. Yep. We have the policy number here. We have the issue date here. We have the premium, the death benefit, the cash value, and then the cash surrender value. So they can use this at some point with their CPA or whatever. Some of our clients, we try and get this to them like in January every year. And so there's a rush between January and March I see a lot of our clients because they need this to get for tax purposes, so they can show their CPA, because this becomes an asset. You know, this is one of the best assets you can have in of all your assets, because it's what they call quick.
Yeah.
You know, you're like 7 days away from getting it, so you can take a loan on, and the loan's based on the cash surrender value. So everything that you might need is right there in one place, and this client, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 policies.
Yeah, and I would say that's one of your clients with a lower amount of policies. Let's put it that way.
I know. So what you're doing is you're wishing everybody a blessed Christmas. Secondly, you're wishing them a happy birthday. And third, you're coming out to see them and to go over what they have. And invariably, this leads to other sales. That's not necessarily the reason for doing it, but it's not a bad reason for doing it, if you mind my saying so, because if it generates new business, it pays for you doing it.
That's exactly what I was. Exactly what I was about to say. I mean, that pretty much is your marketing right there, and it pays for
Exactly
all of that. Going out and seeing them, going out and doing that, you know, and yeah, it's kind of it's so simple.
Well, it is. I mean, it takes a little effort to put these spreadsheets together. Somebody has to call a home office sometime. Well, in the old days, I used to do it myself. I penciled it all in, and then computers are the greatest things that ever happened for something like this.
Yeah,
because and I always bring last year's too, so we can compare. Yeah, and but you with me yesterday when our client said, "Oh my gosh, look at the growth in this thing." And we had reviewed it with him earlier this year. But he looked at it and he went, "Oh, I can't believe how much money we're making on these policies." He go,
I was about to bring up.
"I guess I told you so." And that is another great thing, you know. Once you have a client, you take really good care of the client. I would say you should have a rule. I have a rule, not a 24-hour rule, but I say a 24-minute rule. If the client that I talked to you about, he called me this morning. I missed the call. I think I was in the shower in my hotel room. All right. But when I saw he called, I called right away. Yeah, that's my rule. Just call right away.
Yeah.
And then he had a few concerns about, you know, borrowing the money.
Yeah.
And then I told him to call the office and take care of it that way. But he knows exactly what's going to happen. So I would say respond quickly because anytime your client calls, I don't care where you are. You have phones now. You're able to get back to them literally within 24 minutes, not 24 hours. I had a 24-minute deal. Now, there's sometimes maybe I don't get it because I turn my phone off. I don't have it with me when I go into clean other
appointments, whatever.
Okay. So, but I'm always a couple hours at the most away from my phone, look at it, make sure nobody's called that needs help. And if any of my clients ever call, 24-minute rule. It's like the 3-second rule. When you drop stuff on the floor, I got a 24-minute rule.
Right. Yeah, that almost dovetails right into it. Well, I don't think you do. So you don't really ask for referrals, and you're doing all these things. I'm imagining that's one of the reasons you do get so many referrals from your clients to their friends, their business associates, whatever. What do you think is a big factor in that?
I do get a lot of referrals, and when I get a referral, this doesn't work for everybody. And in a minute, I'll explain to you that I used to ask for referrals.
Okay. So how would, I guess that dovetails into how would you ask for referrals, but go on with what you're saying.
Okay. So if somebody says, well, you know, I've worked with you now for like 6 years, all the stuff that you say, I mean, it's true. I can't believe how well these perform. And, and my business and my family feel so much better knowing that this is in place. And I will tell you, you've met my wife. My wife feels so good knowing that if anything happens to me, you're going to be the person that's going to help her through a really bad time in her life. Oh, yeah. Okay. So they don't just see the check coming, they see me as a person that will be with their family and help their family through a very difficult time. And unfortunately, I've had to have to do that. Right. Okay. But that's one of the, actually, even though it's a very, very sad thing, it's one of the greatest pleasures that you can have as an insurance agent is delivering that check and making sure people are in a good position. And money goes a long ways. But it's more than the money. It's just being there, praying with them sometimes, whatever it takes to encourage. In my case, it's normally been widows.
Men usually die first.
Exactly. All right. So, but when I do get referrals, the guy will say, well, you know, you should talk to so-and-so. I said, and I'll write his name down, you know, while he's talking. And then I'll say, well, you know by now that, all right, instead of me calling him, because he'll be busy, he'll wonder who that is, you might forget to tell him that I'm going to be calling him. Why don't you call him and ask him to call me, actually text me, and tell me who he is that you told him to contact me. And that way, if he goes to the trouble of doing that, then I'm going to be in a position to work with him. Otherwise, at this point in my career, I don't really have time to mess around, if you will.
Not facing anybody down.
No, I think we can actually be kind of picky. And I think people will like it that we are picky. Well, okay, what's the difference between Tiffany and some great jewelry store here in Dallas? The jewelry store here in Dallas have as fine gems as Tiffany, but Tiffany, there's something special about Tiffany. Well, what's wrong with being a boutique? My firm being boutique and the Tiffany of life insurance organizations. So we're Tiffany.
That's a really good point.
So not everybody wants to buy at Tiffany. That's okay. But the people that do can afford a Tiffany gem. There you have it.
Well, that's actually an interesting line.
So yeah, I tell them, and if they do go to the trouble of contacting me, then that's step one. And there's another step which we might talk about. But I have a fact finder that I use once I see somebody, and everybody should use something like this. If you ask me, I'll explain it in a minute. But referrals, okay, you're in business, right? In business, you look at what works, what doesn't work, okay? If you keep doing stuff that doesn't work and think that it's going to change, they call you crazy.
Yes, they do. That's insanity.
That's insanity. All right. So you want to do stuff that works and stuff that and if you start keeping track of what works, you'll realize that a referral from a good client, okay, is a better prospect than you calling people just out of the blue.
By a long shot.
By a long shot. Okay. And if you start keeping track of how much time it takes to take a referral versus a cold call or something you did prospecting through the mail or whatever, okay, you'll find that it might be 5 to 1, 10 to 1. It's amazing. So that's my answer would be, yeah, when you're brand new, maybe you got to do some of that cold calling and stuff. But at some point, everything should be referrals. And the only reason you don't have referrals is because what? You don't ask for them.
Good point.
Right?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
So So when you ask for them, it's just like anything else in life, you know. It's like asking for a date with a girl that you've never met. You know, you ask expectantly, right? Like, yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. I'm gonna buy you dinner, take you to a movie, okay? And you're gonna be able to break that, right? Who could turn an hand down, right? So I mean, it's the same thing asking for referrals.
Yeah.
But the magic, asking for referrals is first of all asking for them, but secondly, having a way to ask for them. So you should develop a sales talk, okay? Like anything that you do, you should have an organized approach, what I call a sales talk, okay, for how you ask. And so that sales talk might go something like this, depending on what it is. You know, Joe, I'm going to make this information available to people that you know. So who are your two neighbors? Who lives on the left of you? The reason you have to get specific like that is because if you just throw it out, who do you know that could use this? They're trying to think. That's like you and your girlfriend or you and your wife saying, okay, where shall we go out to dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Have you ever been through that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want Chinese or blah, blah, blah? I don't know. So the best thing, right, I found, I think my wife likes it too. I hope she seems to, and say, I give her two choices.
All right.
I could give her three choices. Okay. Where would you like? How about this, this, or this? And she says, well, she says none of them, then we got a big problem.
Yeah.
Normally, I know the kind of fruit she likes. And so you do that with referrals, you know. So if you can help them picture, say, for example, who lives to the left of you? Well, John and Mary Jones. Now, when they give you the names, you just write John and Mary Jones. And then you say, and how about to the right of you? Okay. And they tell you, okay, how about the people right across the road? And if nobody lives there, then that's fine. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now, what are your favorite sports and hobbies? Do you like to play golf?
Sure.
Who do you play golf with? Who's the first person you think of when you go to play golf? Okay. So you get the gist of where I'm going.
That's a really good point.
So picture this in your mind. It's like opening the faucet on the bathtub. You're just letting that bathtub fill with referrals. All right. And you just write them down as you do not want to stop the process once their mind is open and they're giving you people's names. That's what you want. Then you go back, and on that visit, you might not get everybody on that list all checked out. And okay, tell me a little bit more about John and Mary Jones. Okay. How long have you known them? What kind of work does John do? Does Mary work? How many kids do they have? Okay.
And you keep it conversational.
Exactly.
And you keep them talking.
And if you do that, even from people that, so you should start asking for referrals if the appointment went well, and even if it goes well.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Would you do it on like a delivery, like when you're
I would do it on delivery. I would do it after the first interview. Yeah. I mean, I'd just do it all the time because your life depends on it. If it's 10 to 1 better than anything else, I cannot run out of those leads.
Yeah.
They mean so much to me and my business. And for me to continue to maintain a business that's making such a profound positive influence in my community and in the lives of the people that we serve, I owed it to myself to continue to get people to help.
Right. To find more people and get sample introductions to people.
Exactly. So that's how I used to get referrals, and I worked up a sales talk, but you normally start with where you live.
Right.
Unless the guy's in business.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, what about a business owner? Because you have a lot of business owner clients, and all of those guys know each other.
They all know each other.
Right.
So I ask him if he's in any business associations, because a lot of them are you in a Rotary Club? Okay. Okay. Who you normally sit with at Rotary Club? Who sits to the right of you? Who sits to the left of you? Same old thing, right?
It's the same thing. Yeah. Who's in your little group?
Yeah, it works. And they give you those names. Eventually you get through all the names, and then you'll get more like when you deliver the policy. Once you've been with them like 5-6 years and you see how well everything's gone, then I mean at some point they start telling people about you, or they'll call you. I get calls even to this day. I get calls from clients that say, you know, I just told so-and-so about you, so you should be hearing from them. And I know you want me to have them text you. Okay.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
because, I mean, now they know.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've met some of my clients because we're gradually turning our business over to you.
Right.
So you know that a lot of them know each other.
Yeah.
Funny thing. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So these guys all knew each other through associations within the community. Some of them go to church first together, and
You know, if you find out somebody's like on the elder board at their church, who are the other elders that could benefit from something like this?
all right. And especially if you're doing business planning already, they're going to immediately think of the elders that own businesses.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to target, I mean, assuming that's what you want to target, well, that's a positive.
Right. And today, what we all have something that we can talk to all of our clients about, and that's the big, beautiful bill.
Exactly.
Okay. So we should be talking to our clients. Okay. This is a fourth time that now I can see my clients. Okay.
That's a really
The other day, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is a fourth thing. I can say, revisited with a client yesterday. I brought it up. And what happened? He wanted some information on the big, beautiful bill. Now, this is a guy with hundreds of millions of dollars, literally, right?
Yeah.
Totally. And doesn't know all the aspects of the big, beautiful bill.
And furthermore, his accountant didn't call him and tell him anything about it.
Exactly. Exactly. So we all have a unique opportunity at this point in time to call our clients and say, you know, I'm going to be in your area next week, Thursday and Friday. Which of those 2 days would you maybe be available for me to review how the big, beautiful bill affects all the policy we already have with you, and how it might affect other things that we do as we go forward in the future?
I think that's incredible advice. And the reason why it is because when you go out and see your clients, like this big beautiful bill, or it could be anything like tax cuts, industry update, whatever it is, but say, you know, hey, Bill, I'm going to be in your area. I want to share with you some information about the big beautiful bill in this case, and just visit with you, update you on your policies. Who's going to say no to that?
Right. And I would say this. If you have not been split dollar because you were wondering whatever, you need to learn split dollar. You need to become an expert in split dollar, because split dollar is going to be a meaningful way of helping your clients even more than just the basic great things your life policy does. Because this is a way of actually paying for that policy with the least amount of dollars necessary. And you gotta argue with that. So you're just if you don't learn about split dollar and talk to your business clients about split dollar agreements at this and what it can do for you, I think you're missing just a great opportunity. I just throw that in. Would you agree with that?
I would 100% agree with that. I mean, that's a great strategy. And again, it's it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It's just about seeing the people, talking to them about something relevant.
Right.
You're gonna uncover opportunities no matter what.
Yeah.
I bring up our appointments yesterday. Well, we were delivering another policy and visiting with a guy, and he brings up he's visiting with his estate attorney, and oh, well, make sure you call us when you go and see him because
We happen to know the attorney.
exactly don't want to explain what these policies are if they have and so forth. So.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, now, obviously, that's a really, really, really great client.
Yeah.
From a monetary standpoint, as far as how much they're worth. But yeah, I think that's a great way to visit with your clients. Just industry updates.
Yeah. So instead of going in and talking about split dollar, talk about the big beautiful bill, and then when you're there, you can talk about split dollar without. Why do you have to always label stuff?
Right.
Just talk about there's a unique way for you to pay for the premiums on your policy, and now we know that the tax law is like in cement, and so we can talk about it. I think it's just an amazing opportunity.
Well, and I think that we're implying is that your clients, they're happy to hear from you, but if they're bringing to see you and allow you to maybe talk about some ideas, you got to bring some value.
Yeah.
Right. So absolutely, they want like this big beautiful bill again, and we'll use this as a great example because everybody was talking about it. It just passed. Now you have something to talk about with them, and actually. We'll make that as a downloadable, an overview of the big, beautiful bill. So if you want to get the information to present to your clients, we'll put that in the description. So we'll have
There you go.
that. And
Very
now you have something to present to your clients.
Am I right?
And keep it simple.
Yeah.
So we went over referrals, staying in touch with clients. How do you get your clients to move forward without making them feel like you're pushing them or being pushy? I think a lot of people fail to ask for the business in our business. I think in general. I mean, I've bought stuff before, and I'm like basically ready to buy, and they want to ask for the order, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll walk out. Yeah. So what do you? Because I think you're a pretty good closer. You probably think the same about yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if I've done my job, right? You have to somehow remember that this is a whole new concept to your clients. And most people that have ever talked to them about life insurance have come out with ledgers and all that kind of stuff. And none of that stuff makes any sense to them. And they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, people go in there and throw a 30-page thing, and
So you might be the first guy that's ever come there and maybe explained it at their level. Now, what's their level? Their level would be somewhere between 6th grade and 8th grade. Think about it.
yeah,
If you're trying to explain the benefits of a life insurance policy, okay, do it. I mean, you don't talk down and use baby language and all that type of thing.
no,
But your clients have no clue about how this stuff works. So put them at 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And if you could explain it to a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, and then maybe the best thing for you to do is actually find somebody in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, explain it to them and ask them what they think.
yeah. Try to explain it to your kids.
Yeah, your kids. Seriously.
Yeah,
A lot of kids get asked, "Oh, what does your dad do?" Years ago, my kids got asked, "What did your dad do?" You know what their answer was?
I hope it was Benny missionary.
No, it was kind of funny. They said, "My dad writes a lot of checks and smokes cigars."
What?
He sits in his beautiful office, smokes cigars, and just signs a lot of checks.
That's a lot of checks.
So then I had to explain to them that I was actually having an impact on people's lives. And so I explained it to them. Now, funny thing, they didn't quite get it. And if they didn't get it, I'm thinking, oh, there's a flaw there. So I'm serious when I say this. You got to bring it down to the point where if they don't understand, they're not going to do anything. And I will tell you this, if they understand, they will do it. It's not a matter of closing. It's because they understood. So if you have to, like, somewhere in the process close, I'm closing from the moment I start.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's like back to dating.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask a girl out on a date and expect her to say no. Now, she might say no, but I'm expecting her to say yes. All right. And so I'm going to ask in such a way that she'll say yes. So I'm going to kind of, I'm going to take her out and I'm going to take you to a really nice restaurant. Okay. I found this Italian place that's just great. Do you like Italian food?
How about what's that now?
So don't you think it'd be kind of fun to just try that restaurant together and see what it's like? Huh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now I expect you to say yes.
But yeah.
Okay? Because why would you not?
Sounds like a great time.
All right. So life insurance is such a great tool, right? It really is. It's one of the greatest tools. Somebody told me this once, and this is something to remember. It's the best product ever devised by the mind of man. So here we are. We have the best product ever devised by the mind of man, and we're sharing it and its benefits with somebody. And if we've done our job well, they're going to
move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, they will. And all along, I what they call the assume close.
Yeah.
So when I get to the end, I say, now the only negative I can think about with life insurance is that you have to be healthy to get it. And so the next step is for us to set up an appointment with a physician, with a insurance examiner. Sorry, but if it's a big case, it's a physician. Well, it used to be anyway.
Right.
So yeah, just not exactly like people call it a medical close, I guess. But I really believe that from the beginning of the process, once again, the product is so good it almost sells itself. If it doesn't sell itself, I over talked about it. I screwed up. They didn't. I screwed up.
Who didn't highlight the benefits properly. You could listen to their objections.
Exactly. So yeah,
But maybe it just wasn't a fit, I guess.
and
From prospect.
if you have an expectant, yeah, I mean, people can tell.
Yeah.
You expect them to continue. Why wouldn't they? You'd be like crazy not to do this, right?
Yeah.
You can't say that, but and if somebody does object, you have to realize those are just excuses. Okay? And if you've done a really, really good job explaining it, and you know whether you have or not, okay? Because it's something that you're a professional. You've done this how many times in your life?
Yeah.
Over and over. It's like a great physician. You've worked on people's hearts so many times, you could almost do it in your sleep.
Yeah. And
That's what a professional is.
Right.
And they know all the right moves to make. Okay? If you've done all that and they still don't want to do it, you don't want them as a client necessarily.
Yeah.
So that happens occasionally. And I listen to the excuses because they're not real objections. Well, we don't have the money and all that right now, and blah, blah, blah. You still need to get your physical. We need to get the physical.
Right.
Okay. So if they'll take the physical, they're going to buy the policy.
Yeah. It's pretty much a.
But if all these excuses, then you just think, okay, well, maybe this isn't the right person for me. Because if you've done everything possible,
Well, I guess you're not going to win them all.
no, you don't. You absolutely don't win them all, but you can win the majority of the ones that you want. And by the way, if you use a fact finder, there's a lot of people that you're going to find in the fact finder you don't want to do business with. There's certain people. I mean, life is too short, and I'm not being proud here, I hope, in saying my time's very valuable.
No, I don't.
It says I'm exchanging today for it. And you know, I'm at a position in my life where there aren't that many days left. So I'm exchanging pretty valuable days for my time. So I'm not just gonna like blow it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think you should really ask yourself, is this somebody that you want to do business with? Because you're going to be doing business with them for a long, long time.
That's a really good point. And if you're doing the right thing,
Yep.
you're going to be in contact with them for 20 years. I mean, it could be a long time.
And you're touching base with them how many times a year?
You should be at least 3.
At least 3. And then when like wonderful opportunities like the so beautiful come along, it's 4.
Yeah,
That's a lot of times.
it's once every 3 months. I mean, that could be that could be a lot,
That could be a lot. And I would tell you,
especially if it's someone you don't like.
yeah, and it might not even be that. It might be that you like that. I mean, you like that person. I like most people, tell you the truth.
Right.
But the kind of the way they're wired, you know, there are some people, like if they're too engineering,
Yeah.
for me anyway, that sometimes presents a challenge. But I still think that they're entitled to all the great benefits of this wonderful product. And so I'm going to give them my best shot. Sometimes if they're too squirrely when I'm, you know, getting information from them, and this thing, they can actually literally fill this out. This tells me exactly what they want. Okay. And what selling is just giving people what they want.
Yeah.
And then explaining what you gave them.
I think many advisors out there, some do have a consistent fact finder, but having a consistent fact finder, I think, is maybe a bedrock that most people overlook in certain circumstances. And I guess it's just a sign of maybe being professional or whatever you want to say. I don't know. But it almost goes back to having a specific way of doing things every time, just like the referral process.
And this one here, it's not just facts, it's feelings.
Yeah.
Because it's facts and feelings that matter. So, I mean, the front page is mainly the facts, but then the rest is, how do you feel? What are your personal views? So this is a personal perspective. So you're asking for their views on how their estate's organized. Okay. Are they happy with their attorney? Are they happy with their present life insurance man? Economic development, where are they? Because mainly their feelings. And so in the end, then they're asked to, you know, tell you what they've done so far in their insurance planning, and then what changes they anticipate. Okay. And discussion priorities. There it is. Here's what they want to talk about. Oh, and normally it's going to be 2 or 3 things at least. No, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then I tell them this little tour here will save us hours, because it would take us hours of conversation, which I'm okay with. But if you want to get right to it and get to them and help you,
Yeah.
okay, this is a greatest little tool in getting right to what you want to discuss. So, you know, I think I'm effective in learning what you want to discuss, but what makes me really effective is having a tool designed to help you tell me what you want to talk about. And that's what we'll talk about. It's what you want to talk about, the problems you want to address at this point in time.
Well, and I think what that gives you is now you have what their issues are, what their concerns are, what their wants are, whatever you want to call it, what their needs are. And now that gives you a framework of how you're going to present the solution to them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to highlight, okay, you wanted whatever, I can't think of anything. It's tax-free income, whatever it is. You want this thing.
Yeah.
And that would be too obvious for insurance, but you want whatever it is, and this will solve that problem.
Well, let me name some of the discussion priorities here. Okay. So you might want to talk about their personal life insurance for their spouse. Do you want inflation and standard of living updates? Okay. Review of existing coverage. Most everybody would like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need mortgage protection, mortgage disability protection? How about spousal disability protection? Insurance for your children? Education plans for my children? And what are your priorities? Savings and accumulation? Or are you trying to build personal wealth? Personal economic development? Is that what you want to talk about? How about personal estate organization? I mean, do you have your will set up? Do you have trust set up?
Right.
All right. Especially for a business owner, right?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
how's your retirement planning coming? I mean, are you happy with the results on your 401k plan? Okay. Maximizing your pension income. Oh, okay. How about investment priority plan? I mean, you're setting the priorities, and this just helps. And then other issues. So sometimes I'll write in other issues, and there's 15 minutes. The hardest thing for me, I'm a salesperson. I'm an insurance salesperson. Okay. It's just, there are times when silence is golden. Okay. So you're not going to sit there and go through this with them. There's a psychological reason for that. If people are more honest when they're completing a document like this than if you ask them the same question. If I ask, they're not going to give me the same truth. They're going to be more honest anyway.
They might tell you what they think you want to hear if you're asking.
Exactly. And that's how people are.
Oh, yeah.
So you give them this, and you have to just kind of sit there and have something to do for like 15 minutes. And I've done this with a client we saw yesterday who's worth $200 million. Okay. And I've done it with people worth 100 million, 10 million. I think all my clients are worth in the millions. So you go to these are all wealthy people that they don't want to screw around. They don't have a lot of extra time, blah, 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 blah. And they're happy to do that because you tell them it's going to save us all kinds of time. And it'll get right down to what you want to discuss. Jim Jones told you what I'd done for him. Okay. I worked with him for 6 or 7 years. This is how I started with him. Yeah. It got us right to the issues that we needed to address. Okay. And that I can help you with. I need to be able to help you as best I can. And the best way for me to do that is for me to know as much about you as possible. And this does that.
And so you would do that on your opening meeting?
Absolutely.
So you'd say, you'd have your talk, which I think your presentation as you do, the money bags presentation as you call it, is a really great presentation. But you would go through that, and then you would go over you would have them fill out the fact finder.
Yeah.
Well, naturally, what would you do some way different?
No, okay. Well, you know that I've always thought that you should have a resume.
Yes.
So I have a resume, and I'm applying for the job. And as their insurance man, how about that?
Yeah.
Now, if I was with a client recently, and he got a call, but he was talking to me, and so he put it on speaker, and he says, I've got a good friend of mine here. His name's Bill Ipema. And I said, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I'm his insurance man. And he said, no, he's not my insurance man. He's way more important to me than being my insurance man. Well, there went,
Nah.
okay, I know. And you meant it.
Yeah.
He looked at me, insurance man. I'm happy to be his insurance man because, you know, being the very best insurance man I can be for him is what life's all about, right?
Yeah.
But he thought of me as way more than just his insurance man. And I think that's what we become to these people. Like I told you, a lot of my people, my clients have told me that I've met their wives. I've met some of their children. Okay. And their wives have told them, this is what they tell me, that they feel a lot better knowing that if anything ever happens to them, that Bill will be there to help us through it. I mentioned that earlier, but I mention it again because I think that's the kind of person that you want to be. That wasn't necessarily what I was working to be. Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's how they look at me, praise God for that.
Yeah, that's a good position to be in it.
Yeah. Because you now you're like almost one of the family. You're like the uncle
Yeah.
that's always out to help them.
Well, and it even if you did more than even if I'm not going to say just life, even if you're doing more than insurance and you can position yourself in that manner and become that to your clients, especially your good client, your all good client. Especially if you can do that with your clients, they're going to come to you with any problems or needs that they have.
Well, where they do. And there's a lot of things that I can't help them with, but we know a lot of people, right? Why we make a point of having an organization that has a lot of relationships with other professionals that can be of service to our clients. And I think that's what makes a great organization. It's not just that we sell life insurance, but we do know some very good CPAs. A good CPA is very important in a business. We know some very good attorneys. Yep. We even sometimes recommend, well, my doctor does blah, 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 and okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just good to have a solid group of people surrounding your organization. And we have spent a lifetime doing that.
Yeah. And I think the financial advisor makes a mistake in some cases. And the insurance agent used to be like the center of all the planning.
Yeah.
And it's no more. I mean, this doesn't really happen anymore. And the financial advisor is kind of like, I don't know, somewhere in between, I guess. So, but yeah, you've done a great job making sure that you're kind of the center of that planning. And I don't think it may have not been on purpose. I think it just kind of happened organically, right?
Well, no, it did. It was on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that organization, MAPS?
Yep.
Mutual Association for Professional Services?
Yep.
Well, that was an organization set up for physicians and attorneys. And our organization in Phoenix, we were one of the first MAPS insurance agencies. So we decided to work with physicians in the Phoenix area more than attorneys, because physicians actually have more income as a general rule. And so we set up this MAPS organization, right? And it was almost like AARP for physicians, Bro, no, if you needed tires, they'd call. We knew where to recommend you get tires, still stuff like that. But, fellow professionals, if you need an attorney for for business documentation and stuff like that, or you're setting up a business, these are the guys that you should call. We'd give them like 3 names. Okay.
That's a really good idea.
If on the other hand, unfortunately, you're going through a divorce. Here's the attorneys that you need to
Right.
have. So we need a point of knowing people that support clients. Our clients are busy men and women that are running businesses and making a difference in their world as well as we are.
Yep.
And so because they're so busy, they really, really will lean on you if you can help them with all these other areas of their life too. And
That's a good point.
you want to be the first person they call.
Yeah, that's basically it. You're delivering value, and it's valuable, but it's not that much work if you've developed these relationships.
Yeah.
You know, and it's exactly what you just said. You want them to be the first one they call because you want to be the first one that they call. Because in the case of, the guy getting a divorce or the guy setting up a new entity, oh, you're setting up a new entity? Tell me more about that. What are you doing?
Right.
And now you've got another opportunity.
Yeah, that happened with our client yesterday. He's setting up another entity. It happened with me last week. They're setting up an entity. This client happens to be in the city of Austin, and I have the perfect attorney for them to contact that'll do it. And I actually knew somebody that he knew that had used that attorney, and I said, well, so-and-so used you. And I said, because he was the one that texted me and said, do you know anybody that can help me
With X.
with X?
Yeah.
Okay. And he needed he didn't need a trial lawyer or anything like that. He needed a business lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's great advice.
Yeah. And I had earlier recommended an estate planning attorney to him, and they did their estate plan, but it was a whole different person, law firm.
Of course. Yeah.
So you gotta know, that's one thing that you can do, like between 4 and 6 o'clock at night, before you go home. It's stuff like that. Reach out to different people in the community that you've heard do a wonderful job. Try and set up a time to just visit with them. And, you read by me more than what you think of them. Will they be candid with my clients? The truth is so hard to get anymore. Media today and what we read, there's no truth, because everybody says, well, my truth is, my truth that. Well, what if your truth and my truth collide? So we're looking for the truth, and we're looking for people that are interested in the truth, and we'll work that way with our clients.
That's exactly right. And actually, if you think about it, the attorney or whatever other professional you're seeking,
Right.
if you develop a good enough for working relationship, that's a potential center of influence for you.
Oh, big time.
Right. So,
Oh, yeah.
talking about referrals and so forth. So doing that will pay dividends, but it's a long game, right? You're not going to meet an attorney and they're going to give you 5 clients.
No.
It's going to take a long, long time to develop the relationship, and nothing may ever come out of it for your business, but your clients will still be well taken care of, assuming it's a, reputable firm or whatever.
My experience has been that attorneys aren't really the best referrals.
I agree.
Okay, so I'm not doing it looking to get referrals. I'm using that particular law firm because I think they'll do the best job for my client.
And that's arguably more important.
That's what okay, because I already have a relationship with my client that's more important to me than the relationship perhaps with the attorney. Okay, and I just want to take good care of my client, and I know that as time goes on, my client will introduce me to other people just like him or her, and those are the kind of people that I would love to continue to work with. I like my clients, pal. And a lot of my clients have become dear friends of mine. I go fishing with some of my clients. I do a lot of fun stuff with my clients because they become one of my friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Fantastic.
So, not to be silly or anything here, but I actually love my clients.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
love them. Yeah, I believe it. So, and I think they feel sort of the same way about me. So it's a nice relationship, and it's interesting now. The different clients I've had in my life that do. It's amazing how many ways there are to make a little bit of money, affect other people's lives in a positive way. It's not just life insurance. There'd be a lot of other ways, and those are the people that we're working with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt.
So it makes our life really interesting and exciting. I could not have picked a more interesting, exciting career that not only allowed me to make a difference in people's lives, make a lot of money, but have an exciting life. I've really had an exciting life. And it's because I've met so many wonderful people that do so many different things.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. That's wonderful, right? And you're trying it the same?
No, I 100% agree. I think it's a great business to be in. I think the fact that you can impact people's lives is fantastic. I think, yeah, interesting people that you meet is really part of it. I think it's very fun.
Yeah.
No, it's
amazing.
yeah. No, I mean
It is. Going to your current client list. Okay, what adventure do I want today? Okay, I think I'll call so-and-so. Maybe we'll go fishing.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So I think maybe we'll do another one of these in the future. You can go over your presentation. I think that'd be fantastic.
You'd like that? We could do that.
I'd love that because I think that's a great way to introduce the concept of permanent life insurance. But before we go, is there anything you want to add, like that would help somebody in our business? I think you've said a lot, and I think a lot of what you've said will be extremely helpful. But if there's one like last tip that you would say, or that you would want to add to help people in our business.
I guess one of the most important things that you can do is recognize that your time is very, very valuable, and that what you do, I said it earlier, but I'll say it again, is that you're exchanging a day in your life, an hour in your life, for whatever you're doing with your life.
Right.
So that becomes your life.
Right.
Okay? What do you want your life to look like? Do you want it to be some bizarre thing that, you'd hate to see a movie about that person? Or would you like it to be a great adventure?
I prefer
Just a great adventure where, that guy's like Roy Rogers. He rides a white horse. Okay? That kind of adventure where you're oh my goodness, I've exchanged all those moments in my life for something that's way more valuable, and that's because I actually made sacrifices in my life to help other people have a better life. And so I would say, when you look at your time, how valuable your time is, the key thing is to commit. It's like marriage, the best marriages are when the husband and wife are committed to the friendship that they have with each other and long to continue that relationship.
right.
The relationship that you're going to have with your clients isn't quite the same as your marriage, but it's close in many ways because it's a relationship with people. These are people that I'm talking about.
Built on trust and loyalty.
Exactly the same things that, okay? So you need to be committed to using your time, to do the best that you possibly can to make a difference in those people's lives. And that means that when you're not face to face with them, what you're doing is making you better. So you're educating yourself. You're constantly educating yourself. You're a professional.
Yeah.
So you want to be the best you can be. So like I said earlier, if people aren't doing like split dollar right now, you owe it to yourself to learn split dollar and learn it so well that you can sell it to a 7th grader.
That's tree mastery, is when you can break it down.
That's the commitment I'm talking about. So you're always committed to doing everything that you can to make that person's life the best it possibly can be. And you are so fortunate, I'm so fortunate, that the tool that we have, life insurance, is the best product ever devised by the mind of man. And that
I love it. Great, man. You closed it out even better than I could. No, thanks, Bill. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate the friendship, the mentorship, everything, and it's been you're not dead, so it's great to rotor to you. Not that you're going anywhere, and
Yeah.
we'll keep it up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Make it a great day.
Hey, you as well. Thanks.